How do you think a thought before you think it? Hey, Dr. Sil here, junior doctor from Australia on the psychiatry training program. So I have been reacting to music videos, to TV shows, to old school footage, but I realized I've never reacted to art, like just pure paintings, artworks, that kind of thing that relate to mental illness. So I thought it's about time. So in this video, I'm going to react to 5 artworks that do relate to mental illness and talk about them. If you enjoy it, make sure you leave comments down below with links to other artworks that relate to mental illness that I should react to. Now, with that all said and done, let's get into it. So this piece is called At the Bottom of the Anxiety Swamp by Jayoon Choi. There is a moment when you can't help but sink deep down, attacked by spiteful thoughts. But oh dear, I was the monster. Interesting. So what do we see here? So in terms of my emotional kind of response to this, I'm feeling tangled up. I feel like I'm down in a deep well in some forest. And I'm getting tangled up with these monsters. So I think the vertical stripes, which might be texture or chalk as the background, really gives a sense that you're going down. Like it's got this kind of vertical element to it, that you're deep, and that and it's all black, it's all bad. And then you've got these forms, these humanoid / snake or tree trunk like, almost like plants, vines, forms, and like with the human upper bodies. And interestingly, they all have a different facial expression. So the top one is, for me, it looks like guilt. And the middle one there is, I can't make it out exactly. It could be suspicion, concerned of what other people are thinking about you, a bit of shame. You know, that thing with the hand looks like shame. The one with the hands covering eyes definitely feels like shame. Feels like intolerance, an inability to handle, to tolerate reality. And then the bottom one is, for me, the most kind of connecting and scare, like viscerally connecting. It's escapism. It's trying to claw out. It's trying to climb out. And the arms are a bit long and the fingers are a little bit flexed. It's like it's almost against a chalk background. And so, yes, I think Choi was trying to use these forms as different, maybe different characters in his mind, and how they remember different things and interconnect and get laced up and knotted, and that inner tension. And that is it. It's a tension. It's a knot. But yeah, definitely a very evocative painting. So this one is called Silent Shout by Eva Charkey Wicks. My adventure with photography began after my father died. I did not talk to people, and I stopped meeting with people. My depression almost killed me. All the negative emotions that were in me and still are. Depression likes to come back. I show in my photos. Right, so this is, I guess, maybe part photography. I'm not sure what the medium is, but it's very visceral and dark. I think something that I really like about this painting is that nothing is in focus. It's all blurred with almost, it's 2 photos superimposed on one another that are quite similar, and the form here of one head and the form here of another head, and the pronounced eye. I mean, really, that's the most detailed part in the whole image, and it's just a black eye with a raised eyebrow. It's very painful. It's very hard to stare into that eye because it's connecting to a lot of darkness within us. Now, I think this is probably just jewelry, but it looks like it could be handcuffs weighting her down and locking her up. And it's all black and it's all bad. And it's this kind of rocking, people with, kids with autism and, having, who struggle to express emotions, they'll use physical rocking to kind of self-soothe. And that's kind of such a primitive thing, because as a fetus, that's what was happening to you. You were rocking backwards and forwards, and that was maybe the last time you felt safe, and this kind of black, almost water-like background may relate to drowning or something. It's all bad. So yeah, that's why we do it, guys. That's why we treat mental illness, so that this shit isn't deeply experienced as badly. Now, she talks about depression liking to come back, and that's absolutely right. Depression is an episodic illness. And with treatment, the episodes last less long, and the symptoms are less severe. But yeah, you have to talk to your doctor about diagnosis, because sometimes, depression is probably one of the most misused words ever. People saying they're depressed when they're not really depressed is very, very common. And the criteria for depression are pretty specific. And there's really like organic depression, and then there's psychosocial stress, which is a very different thing that doesn't respond very well to treatment. So it's important to get a diagnosis if you're feeling depressed. This one is called Depersonalization by Morgan Page. I drew this after I realized that I was experiencing episodes of depersonalization. I had been experiencing them for a while, but I never knew what it was. Once I found out it had a name, it all made sense. It feels like you're detached from yourself. The head could eventually be reattached, and I could finally feel like myself again. So I really like this painting, and I love the fact that I think it's just in a book, but there's a lot going on here. So in terms of the text, she's describing how when you get a label for something, it makes you feel better. And that's a very interesting phenomenon that I've noticed in mental illness, is that if people are having a pathological experience that we don't have a name for, it feels very invalidating, and they don't know what to make of that. But when they get a label that describes how they feel, it's so validating and it makes them feel better. It's actually good for them to have a diagnosis. But the problem there is sometimes people get misdiagnosed to appease that inattention. So they might get diagnosed with ADHD when they don't actually have ADHD, just because it's usually more complicated than that. But anyway, it can be a problem when people are pushing for a diagnosis for themselves. Now look, here she's talking about depersonalization, and it needs to be distinguished from or disambiguated from derealization. Now, both derealization and depersonalization are types of dissociation. And to understand, it's important to understand what dissociation is. It's essentially when you escape within, and very much links to childhood, because it's a fight and flight response for someone who can't fight or flight. Right, so if you're a kid and you're getting a fight and flight response, you can't run away because you're a kid, and you can't fight because you're a kid. So where do you go? Well, you run away internally. You dissociate. You separate out from the person who's in the room, the physical form, into the mind, into a safe space, as safe as possible a space. Gabor Mate talks a lot about this and how it relates to future trauma responses. And here you really see the brain, her head flying away from her body. This is a stress response because of likely childhood, defense mechanisms that were established because of problems in childhood. So it can be quite maladaptive. It can be non-functional, especially if people do bad things when they dissociate. And it's a very interesting area of debate. Like, if someone is violent whilst they are dissociated, how should they be punished? Right? Violence is never acceptable, but if they're doing it whilst they're dissociated, what consequences should they endure? I don't know. It's very complicated. What I like about this painting, first of all, is the thinness of the string. That could have been a thick rope. That could have been, metal, but she's I don't know if it's consciously or unconsciously, but drawn a very thin string. I feel like just a little pair of child paper or plastic scissors could cut it and the head would fly away. So it's tethered down by a very weak force. And maybe as her mental health improves, that thickness of that string will increase. Now, the thing I don't get is, why is there no pupils? And I'm just trying to imagine why the author would have made that decision. And I'm guessing it's because the pupil is your way to connect to the world, to see the world, to be present in the world. But when you are depersonalized, not only is the head gone, but your way of seeing the world is gone. So that's how I'm conceptualizing what's happening there. So a very interesting painting or drawing indeed. This piece is called Mind Vomit. This represents the daily conversation within my mind. Anxious thoughts, depressive thoughts, sub-thoughts, thoughts about the thoughts, a constant critical commentary, and a tornado of darkness, numbness, and complete inner turmoil. Wow, this is a very cool painting. Just so, like, I'm seeing so much. And it's really chaos. It's really this is thought disorder. This is disorganized flow of thought and experience. There is no flow. There is no pathway there. It's explosions of experience, intrusive. You know, there's no coordination. There's no organization. It's chaotic. It's visceral, and the person below is there's no color in the person below. It's just the color is in the thoughts. Oh man, this is a very cool painting. If I had to link this to a mental illness, not including the text, like just as the painting itself, this really suggests mania to me. This is a manic mental state. But given that the text, I'm wondering if it's more around emotional disorder, like dysregulation issues. Now, I love in the text how it talks about sub-thoughts and thoughts about thoughts. I mean, answer me this question, guys. How do you think a thought before you think it? You know, like the brain. It's very philosophical what we do here. So yeah, there's a lot of uncertainty and chaos, and wow, this is just very moving. All right, and the last one, our fifth one, it's Who Cares by Janet Ford. From the #100 Days of Bipolar Project, this image depicts how it feels to be both depressed and manic. In both states, you have a who cares mindset, yet both are completely different. When you are depressed, you are unable to care about anything. Life has lost any sort of meaning. When you are manic, you don't care about anything either, but it's more of being unable to think past the current moment. You don't think or care about the future or its consequences. Interesting. Look, this is very interesting because this is the power of punctuation. And I don't want to minimize anything here, but look at the, like, even without the images, just having an exclamation mark versus a full stop, like that's mania versus depression. It's not, depression isn't always sadness. Sometimes it's an emptiness. Sometimes it's a lack of ability to feel. That's called anhedonia. Whereas, the mania, the jumping, the outline, it's grandiose, it's expansive. That's what the term we often use in someone to describe someone who's manic in their affect, when they're speaking like this and they're gesticulating with their hands and they're talking about their big ideas, and you can't follow their stream of thought because the cup and then the sound system and then the wall and then the roof and then you're like, whoa, I can't keep up. And then it's maybe just word salad by the end of it with this flight of ideas. It's here we go. It's expansive. Who cares? Who cares? Like, who cares if I drive my car into a tree? Like, who cares? I'll survive. I'm bloody tough. I can do meth and run a marathon, and I've seen all sorts of stuff in this job. So who cares? Now, with bipolar, very typically you have episodes, right? These last days to weeks. Mania lasts at least for 7 days. Depression lasts for at least 2 weeks. If you're jumping between depression and mania within hours, within the same day, then most commonly that's actually a personality vulnerability, that your emotional dysregulation as a result of childhood and genetics is very difficult to contain, and it's a different treatment to a bipolar illness. So it's important to, if you or someone have these symptoms, to be seen by a psychiatrist to get an accurate assessment done. All right, that is it for the 5 artwork reflections. If you guys have any artworks you think I should reflect to, leave a link down in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, please like it, subscribe to the channel, share it with a friend. And other than that, I just wish you all a beautiful day and full of love and joy and connectedness and things. And I'll see you all in the next video. All right, bye for now.